Hello, precious people. I'm Jacqueline Parks. Welcome to my channel, Stampin' Turtles. Today we are going to transform one of my beach photos into a Christmas one because I thought since it's the beginning of November, might as well start focusing on Christmas. And I will be planning to decorate my studio. Maybe I'll give you guys a little tour of that. Let's see what else is going on today. Oh, I had a show yesterday. I was a vendor at my church and it was fabulous. It was a women's conference and they had several vendors set up. So I ended up buying some Christmas presents from my family, from the other vendors, and supporting one another. And it's just such a lovely way to start off November. Saying hi to Adela. Hello, Adela. Thank you for joining. And we're gonna just get into this because why not? You know, we got things to be doing today. It's a Monday and we're all starting a new month and a new week. So let me make sure I can hear us. Yep, I can hear us. I can see us. It's great. It's great when those things happen. As you know, I have to look at my photo reference. So this is my photo reference. Can you see that? I took this picture, so I know that it's going to be okay. I'm going to change quite a few things though in this, but I do like how the clouds look, and that tree in the background is what I'm going to transform into a Christmas tree. So this one right there, right? So what we got going on, you got my paper right here. This is a 9 by 12 that I cut in half. So the 9 by 12, and I'm gonna do landscape style. Normally, you know, I might do portrait, but this time I think I'm gonna do a landscape because I think it's kind of pretty to do a landscape. And normally we don't want to put our horizon line right in the middle. Sometimes we want to put it a little bit lower, but this is my horizon line. I'm just going to do it real light, not even barely visible. And I'm just going to very quickly put a tree, a Christmas tree right here. I think I'm going to make it look more in the foreground. That eraser is not good. You ever have one of those old pencils with an eraser that seems to be kind of crusty and dried out and hard? That's what that was. So we're going to use this nice little one. I've lost all my needed erasers. I have no idea where they are. But that's okay. I may do without them. Here's where I'm going to put the land and the beach. Okay? Maybe off to there. So now I've got some little waves going here. And this is like some land jutting out right here. And I might do that. And of course the clouds, I don't really need to put them into a drawing, but I'll just do it real quick just so I can have them in there. I can see it. Y'all can't, I don't think, because it's just way too light. And I always encourage my students to barely press on their paper. And the reason is because you don't want to dent your watercolor paper. So if you sketch it first, make sure you don't press too hard. I know it makes it hard to show in a tutorial, but that's okay, right? So now I'm just getting my brush nice and wet. And I'm going to start with the sky, right? So this is semi clean. It's not super clean. That's okay. Because nothing really is pure white in this world, right? We got to remember everything kind of, if it is white, it's reflecting and it's doing. This is my Canson XL paper. It's not super expensive paper. It's fine though for what we're going to be doing today, which is just a quick little tutorial. And if you want to see what I'm doing, I'm mixing my paint over here, right? With a nice hair in it. And I'm mixing in some Payne's Gray in with this, where did I put that little tube? So I'm using this color, which is Turquoise by M. Graham. And then I'm using Payne's Gray by the same. I'm just going to mix them until I like what color I see. And sometimes it turns out okay. Let's see what happens if I start. It's not gray enough, so I'm just going to put a little more Payne's Gray in there. Why not, right? Sometimes I try things and they don't work. But we'll see what happens here. I'm trying to get some pretty clouds. All right, let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. And this is a nice little hair stuck in there. Come on out, little hair. You know, my cat's not been in here, so there's no reason for cat hairs to be at all in here, right? And I'm just putting some clean water. That's kind of helping this move around. Sometimes it looks good. Sometimes I mess it up. We'll see what happens this time. My paper's drying super fast, y'all. What is up with that? I don't think, well, it could be the brand of paper I'm using, because that really affects whether or not your paper is doing what you'd like for it to do, because sometimes this cheaper paper does dry quicker, and that makes for frustration if you need it to stay wet longer. But if you like it to dry fast, then go ahead and use some Canson XL. I think this will be great for y'all. I might add a little more Payne's Gray. Why? Because I am feeling like these are nice and dark clouds. So they're just kind of, the bottoms of these clouds are dark. And look at how I do that. Like it just kind of blooms. Kind of blooms. And I probably should tape this down so it's not such a pain, but that's okay. That's okay. So tell me in the chat what you guys are up to. What are your big plans this month? You have anywhere you're going for Thanksgiving? If you're not from the US, what do you guys plan? Do you have holidays in November? Are there any kind of fun fall plans that y'all do? The changing of the trees, things like that. Now I gotta mix up a color for my beach. I'm liking how this looks. It's very atmospheric. I'm just gonna leave it as such. So now I'm gonna mix up some kind of beachy color. Let's see what we can do. I'll zoom out if you want to see. Let me see if I can just show you my palette for a minute, because I want you guys to see what I've got. I've got like some raw umber. I have some cad yellow, I think. There's some green. I'm not sure what this one is. And I might put a little bit of this red in there. And you'll be surprised. Watch what I do next. I'm gonna dip into my Payne's Gray and mix Payne's Gray in there. You might be like, what happened then? Well, you'll see what happens then. All right, now we're gonna go back to looking at the beach. So we're gonna do this and we're just gonna go for it. We're not pre-wetting. We're just going straight into this. And I did kind of draw a line to make it kind of wavy there. Now I'm dipping in water and not more paint, just water. Smearing that out a little bit. I'm thinking that looks okay. That's not too shabby. All right, and then rinse my brush, dry my brush. Gonna let this do its thing. But I like those colors. And I do like the drips. I've been starting to add just drips on purpose into my artwork, which I think is kind of a fun thing. If you don't do it, it's okay, but it makes it look very watercolory, in my opinion. So now I'm gonna go back into my palette. I'm gonna mix up ocean colors. It's kind of hard to show y'all what I'm mixing. So this was my turquoise blue. I just put a little bit right here. Took some of the beach color and mixed it in. And see how it's getting this kind of green color? Can you see that kind of green color there? So now we're going to go back. I'll show you how I plan to paint it onto here. So I have my brush loaded up. It's loaded up with paint. And I'm just going to do right in here. Just a little bit where I made some kind of waves. Because this is how it looks in my photo. Some of this is very green. Some of it is kind of white. Preserve the white edge in there if you can. And I'm adding a couple little dots with the tip of this brush. And you know what ends up happening sometimes is I rinse my brush and dry it a little bit, and then I start to wiggle it on these things and get rid of the harsh little lines that I see. Sometimes I smear them into each other. And if you're trying to stick exactly to your photo, I would recommend that you just let your instincts take over, because I'm looking at this photo and it's a guide. It's not showing me what I should be painting. It's actually just a guide for what, you know, there's some white places. Let me see. Some white in there. Not all of it is white. It's a lot clear. There's some darker blues. But I'm not about this painting to be a realistic, perfect rendition. This is going to be a stylized Christmas painting. Maybe I'll use it for my Christmas cards. I don't know what I'll do. You'll see when it's all said and done. Y'all will see. Now I'm mixing up. Let me show you what I'm doing. Transition over there. And then I do this, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I got this turquoise, right? And I got my Payne's Gray. So see those? And what I can do is mix it into that kind of greenish color. So now we're going to have a couple variations of what I'm doing in this color, right? So then you're gonna zoom back out and watch me paint this, okay? So I am gonna go with this kind of bluish greenish color and just kind of add some fun little lines, and we want to kind of keep it parallel to the horizon, which is kind of weird, but also making it go down the beach a little bit. So we're trying to do a couple things with this, right? And as it gets further away, these little lines that I'm making will get really thinner and thinner. But we're just going to kind of go in there. I really like that. That's looking pretty. And so we're just trying to elongate some of these. And if my sky is dry, which it should be because it's drying so fast, I'm going to touch the water to the sky. Part of this is going to be the background coming out, but I'm liking how that looks. So far it looks like water. Look how my beach is kind of modeled a little bit. It's kind of pretty. But of course, this is all layer one. Like you guys remember with watercolor, we do layers. And so this is not going to be a perfect rendition of my photo. This is going to be Jacqueline Park style painting of a beach with a little Christmas tree over here. So we're going to do the tree probably last. Also, if we get done with this painting, I don't know, maybe I'll do it next week because I have this other idea that I want to do. But I'm letting this rest. You see how I'm not painting? We're letting it rest. But look at this I made. These are going to be Christmas cards, I think, handmade, hand painted, so not a print. So this might be kind of a fun idea if you haven't done something like this. Make some Christmas cards, right? It's kind of fun. You can sit and do like 5 at a time, and that would be good. I have several right here. Maybe I'll do a video on card making, since I am kind of a card maker, or used to be. I'm really liking this. This looks so pretty already. I don't know if this is quite dry yet. I feel like just adding some water. So I want you to see what I just did. So I just dipped my brush in here, cleaned it, and I'm just kind of scraping it on the top edge of that cup. Now I'm going to go into what I mixed and water it down. And if I need more water, I'll get more water. But right now it looks pretty watery. So let's see what happens. I'm going to go back in here, and I'm just going to go across some of this and knock out the white. But because the stuff underneath is kind of dryish, I can go over it, and it makes a second layer on there, which darkens it just ever so slightly. So now it's starting to look like ocean. This is actually Mobile Bay, but no one really knows that unless I tell them, right? So I got my whole painting kind of going on here. My palette's over here. I am going to rinse my brush, scrape it on there, maybe dry it on a piece of paper towel that I keep right by my palette. Just dab the tip to get rid of excess water, because sometimes you don't want all that water on there. It'll just put too much on there, right? Ooh, y'all, let me see if I can show this up close. I don't know if you can see it. There's a bloom right in there in the sky. It actually looks very pretty. There's a lot of blooms right there. I think they look pretty. One thing I am noticing though, with my sand, with the beach, it's just all samey same too much for me. I think right on the edge, it's a little darker. So we're gonna have to darken that just slightly. So what I do sometimes is mix my palette up like this. You know, sometimes I do this. But I will add just a touch. Like I barely touch that Payne's Gray because you can always add more, but if you put too much, then you'll have to go back and put more of your yellows and stuff. So I think that color's good. Let's go back over to this and just against that edge, I'm just making it a little darker. But see how it gets wider as it gets towards me? That's how you do a beach. Looks good. Like it. And you can, if you really want to, you can put some darker areas over in the background just to make it look a little darker. You can even put like a little line. It looks like there's a little line sometimes. You know, there's like a tide line. So you can do that if you want. Not necessary. If you don't like it, you can always get rid of it. But I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit. And sometimes with something like this, you can go into a smaller size brush, wet it down, mix your little sand color back in. Maybe even a little bit of your Payne's Gray back in, and you can tap. Of course, I'm getting it all in my sky. You can't really see that. I'm not used to this brush. My other brush is at the studio, but that's okay. I'm going to try and get rid of these if I can. Sometimes I do things and I'm like, why didn't I cover that up? Because sometimes it's real easy to just lift it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I do have some clean water. But clean water, y'all. Be very proud of that. There. And we can always put seagulls, right? It's a beach. We can put a seagull in there. But these spots are really kind of cool. They kind of make little sandy looking areas. I may just splatter a little bit of I may splatter a little bit. Here, I'll put a paper towel down. Does that make everybody happy? Maybe. May splatter just some clean water. And maybe just a little bit more of the sandy color. And sometimes just clean water and a couple little variations in the color just makes for a sandy splatter stuff. There we go. My dog likes to bark, y'all. Sorry about that. She is just a great dog. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Like, I feel like this is not something you can do with, maybe you can do it with acrylic. I mean, I've been an acrylic painter and I just feel like this is so unique to what watercolor does. So in my opinion, watercolor is fabulous. I love it. Love it. All right, what are we doing next? So now you might be thinking, well, what about that Christmas tree? Aren't you going to do a Christmas tree? Yes, I'm going to do a Christmas tree. Let's see if I'm going to stick with this smaller round brush, okay? This one's a size 6 by Fumui. I don't know if that's how you say it, Fumui. Anyways, size 6, round is fine. I already have on my palette, let me show you if I can. I have green on my palette. So over here is green. It's kind of dried out, but it was yellow and blue mixed together. Maybe a little bit of sap green in there. I'm not sure. But it's kind of the color green that I think would make a great Christmas tree color. Reese! Stop it! I don't even see anybody outside. She just likes to bark, y'all. I'm so sorry. Probably worse for me to yell at her than it is to hear her. So look at my palette. See how I'm mixing this green with some of the Payne's gray? See this color? It's kind of like an evergreen color now. So it went from sap green with a little Payne's gray now to like an evergreen. And you can lighten it, darken it, whatever you want to do with it. This is your painting, of course. When you're painting along with me, that's what happens. So you can do that. So now this is the part that can be kind of scary. But I'm gonna just go for it. All right, I'm just gonna go for it. Don't be scared, people. Sometimes what I like to do is a straight line for the trunk. See that? You see that? Maybe I can zoom in more. Let me see. If I can, I will try. But sometimes it's hard to zoom in even more. So we'll see what happens if I do this. Transition. Do you see? Okay, so now I've got my trunk, and I'm going to start doing some little wispy branches coming out. And I am kind of going over other areas a little bit. And then I don't really have a good brown, but I can mix up a red, green. Red and green will make a color with a little Payne's gray. And then I can go back in and make those trunks a little bit darker with some brown in there. I like the spaces in between. I think that's kind of cool. And again, this is one layer. We're not trying to make a bunch of layers. We're doing right now. We're just letting the first layer sit. I'm wondering if I should even do some kind of a background here. I did draw it, so why don't we go ahead and fill it in? It's just like background trees. They're so far away. They're kind of just a dark blobby thing. Finally, my dog stopped barking. Praise the Lord. So now what I want to kind of do with this, it's definitely trees in the background. So I'm just adding these super texturized bumpies. That's a very technical term. Texturized bumpies, y'all. So that's the background. These are like a tree line that's in the background there. I don't think I want to add anything else. I think that looks fine for like that. Although it supposedly goes way out, but I kind of like how this looks. It transitions from the sky to the water really nicely. I just kind of like that. So we can change whatever we want. When we're an artist, we can change facts about a photo we're using and just make whatever we want. And that's what's so cool about being an artist, is you can let the Holy Spirit guide you and create whatever you want. So now I'm adding kind of a darker, I added more Payne's gray, and I'm just adding darker areas to this. Now, I could decorate this with lights. I don't know if I want to though. It just kind of looks like a little Christmas tree on the beach. So it could just be, that's what I do. Because it's not even dark out, so it's kind of hard to create a Christmas tree with lights all over it. If you do want to do it, what I recommend, if you want to put some lights, you can either splatter clean water and let them bloom. And that's kind of a fun technique you can do. That takes a minute for it to kind of do its thing. So then I could go in wherever those blooms are and add like a little red bulb kind of thing. So I can do that. It's going to take a minute to dry. But I'm liking how this looks. It kind of looks pretty. For some reason, I like the whole kind of look of it. So zoom back out for a minute and see if I can make it look less zoomed in. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's hard to get the whole thing in there. Let's see. How's that? That looks pretty good. I like how that looks. Christmas in Alabama. At the beach, right? I really want to show you what this is doing because it's still doing it. Can you see that? Can you see the blooms in there? It's hard for me to tell if you can see them. I can see them. I think they look amazing. But this tree is floating on the ground. It's not grounded yet because there's no shadow. But if I'm going to paint a shadow, I want to wait until the tree is dry. So I'm going to wait for that to dry a little bit. But I am liking these blooms in there. I'm liking them. That's kind of like, did I do it with these guys? I have a couple little blooms in here, and you can use salt to get some effects sometimes with those blooms, and blooms are great. I think a lot of people stress over blooms, but I'm like, I think they're great. I think they're beautiful. And to me, this is so pretty. And I could add, you know, like if I get the prints made of this, I could put Merry Christmas and send these to people. I could say Merry Christmas from the Parks. You know, that would be kind of a good Christmas card, don't you think? I think it'd be pretty. I'm really liking the sky, even though it doesn't really look like clouds anymore. And it just looks like one of those thunderheads coming up right there. And it's just soft and misty. I don't know. I was thinking I was going to do a second layer on the sky, but I kind of like how this looks. I think it looks fabulous. Fabulous. I could make this section a little darker, but I almost like how it disappears into the sky. That kind of, I like it. I could add some contrast into the waves towards here. Like I could, let me see. I'm just dipping it in that evergreen color, and maybe I'll just make a couple little things just to make it have a little more dark areas. So that looks kind of good. It's funny because the photo really has a lot of horizontal lines, and then it has these kind of diagonal lines to the shore. So it's kind of interesting to see how that plays out on this. I kind of like it. Kind of like the colors of it overall. I like the tree. The tree is still really wet. I could hit it with a heat tool. Where's my heat tool? Let's see. Hopefully you're plugged in. See how this is curling as it's drying? The way to counter that is you can flip it over. And you can dry the back side and it'll flatten back out. I don't know why it does that. So now, I don't know if you can see the blooms in there. The blooms in that tree. I can see them real good. So I may have to bend this thing. Oh, come on. This is why I tell y'all to tape it down if you're a newbie, because this can be frustrating to have it just keep curling on you. Plus, I think the Canson XL curls a lot more than Arch paper. So if you have Arch paper, it might not do that as much. I'm gonna just rinse and dry my brush. Let's see what I'm gonna do. Gonna try doing some, maybe mixing the red. Let's see what we got. I've got some different reds. Alizarin Crimson, I think, and Cad Red. Okay, so I got two different reds. I have a yellow right here. I might just mix it all kind of right there. A little Payne's Gray. Why? Because it's gonna make it cohesive to have that Payne's Gray almost in everything. Is gonna be nice. I'm mixing in a little more red at a time, a little bit at a time, because that looks almost brown to me. I don't want it to be brown. I want it to be red. I've been noticing in the stores that there's a lot of pink. People are doing some kind of weird pink stuff for Christmas. I also saw Michael's has a whole section with black Christmas stuff. I'm like, I don't know about that. So now I'm gonna add some red, little red bulbs, or brown bulbs, as this may look on screen. And they're never perfectly placed. If you ask me, all of our bulbs on our trees are a little bit, you can't even see that because it's so tiny. I got a couple little red things in there. But you know what I'm going to end up doing? I think I'm going to add a number 10 gel. Just put a little white dot in there for like some reflection on these little bulbs. And if you don't like how white that is, just kind of touch it with your finger and dull it down just a little bit. Let me see about that shadow, which I like to use a Payne's Gray shadow. And maybe mix it with that yellow. So we're just going to add a shadow in there. I'm not really 100% sure where the sunlight's coming from. I'm going to dip my brush in the Payne's Gray a little bit and just show you guys what I'm doing to add a little bit of just a little bit of dark in there towards the bottom. And you can add contrast to any part of your painting if it doesn't look interesting enough to you. But that's looking like a Christmas tree in my opinion. It's very wet though. Let me see if I can do, so you can see the whole picture now. Look at that. Hey, Joy. She says my son-in-law is a police officer and has a black and blue Christmas tree. Really? It's actually pretty for non-traditional. They have a few other traditional trees. Oh, I had a friend who had 7 Christmas trees in her house, and each one had its own color theme. I like the idea of doing that. Like, I kind of want to do that at my studio. I'm going to do beachy teals and a little bit of evergreen, but I don't know. And some gold. I like gold with the whole Christmas theme. Um, but when I was a kid, we had these big old lights. They were like, I kid you not, like this big around. They were frosty looking and they were so heavy. And we put those on our tree every year. They were different colors. And we put the tinsel, the icicles. We threw the icicles all over the Christmas tree. We had ornaments from all over the place. Very pretty scene, Joy says. Thank you. Hi. Wow, I'd do that if I had a big house. Yeah, right? If you had a big house, you could do a tree in each room. You could do a tree. Like, I know I want my outside of the house to be decorated too, and my husband is definitely going to be busy doing that. Now we got a studio. He's got to do stuff at the studio. I said, I want lights on my studio too. He already put lights on the ceiling. I don't know if you have seen it. I need to do a tour of the studio for y'all. So you can see exactly how pretty it is in there. It's not a big studio. It's a little house, but it's very cozy. I enjoy teaching classes over there. I enjoy going over there to paint. You had similar as well, Joy, with the icicles on your tree and the light bulbs, like that were big, round, heavy. They were very heavy. And I don't even know what happened to those light bulbs that we had. I don't think they I think Hobby Lobby has something similar looking, but they're smaller. There might be like a third of the size, but they're round and they're frosted and they look similar, but they're smaller. Also, we had the bubble lights, which I know Hobby Lobby has the bubble lights now. My dad had bubble lights on his tree, and you clipped them so they have to face straight up and down. So the bubbles would go up the little tube. And that was a cool little thing. I remember going to big warehouses to get Christmas decorations. I mean, they had huge warehouses. I don't know if we have a warehouse full of Christmas decorations here. I guess you could call Hobby Lobby a big old warehouse, right? But I was thinking, since I'm from Alabama, this is like a beachy town, and Gulf Shores isn't too far from where I live, and I think this would be a really pretty Christmas card. I think that I could even cut it down, but I do like it like this. And this, like I said, was 6 inches by 9 inches. So I could get that framed and just put it on the mantle. I could put it on a shelf, hang it on the wall for the Christmas season. Get it framed maybe. I don't know. It's hard to get frames this size, 9 by 6. But they do make a frame on Amazon, and I just bought it 9 by 12 with a mat that is a 9 by 5, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's hard to remember sometimes. I think I want to make this just a little bit darker right by the edge of the water. Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit. That actually brought it out quite a bit, y'all. So don't be afraid to add a couple more layers. If you're doing a beach scene, this is great. You can watch this and do this for the summertime, 6 months from now when it starts to warm up. You could do a beach without the Christmas tree. Joy says, I had that for a while when my kids were younger. The little lights that had the bubbles in them. Yeah, those were fun. In the big old warehouse, my dad would take me, and I picked out this really cute set of 4 glass bulbs. They were really big, and they were hand painted inside. I don't know how they hand paint inside a Christmas bulb. Like, it was clear on the front, frosted on the back, and the image was on the inside of that bulb. I don't know how they did that, but it was so cute. It had 4 different scenes, and just a few years ago, the last one that I had fell, the box fell that it was in, and I'm like, well, maybe the box protected it, but it broke, but it only broke the front clear glass. So now it's like the back was still, the image was still there. I keep thinking I'll pour some resin in that and preserve it somehow, because the glass, it's real jaggy on the edge. So I don't know if I can sand that, but it's so thin, the glass, that I'm like, may not be able to do anything with it, to be honest. I'm wondering if this needs to be a little darker shadow. I'm just going to randomly do that. Randomly do that. Sometimes you do something and you're like, ooh, that was not good, right? But you can always erase watercolor if you don't like it. That's what I love about watercolor. You can erase it. So you kind of lift it and like spin it around and do things like that. I'm glad things worked today. Last week, what was going on? Oh, my camera was dead. That's what happened. The battery died. So it is fully charged and ready to go today. I don't know if like you guys are, also I forgot to do my Watercolor Wednesday wisdom video this last week. I just been so busy with my craft shows. So I've been doing craft shows, and I did one at my church last night. It was wonderful, y'all. It was a women's conference that my church puts on once a year around Christmas time, and they invite vendors to come, and a lot of them are from the church, the vendors, and they just make it so that you can get your shopping done early if you want. I did buy some Christmas presents, so and I supported one girl. She's a teenager that I really care for very much. She had her sewing quilted items, and I bought something from her. There's someone who makes soap. I bought something from them. Our pastor actually makes honey and sells it. So, but I'm still good. I've got some of his honey right here. It is called Coastal Comb Bee Company, Fairhope, Alabama. Fairhope, Alabama. So if you want to support him, I'm sure he'll ship it. I love this stuff. It's so good. Good. And if you have allergies, they say you should have honey from your where you live. Like, you should get honey. So he's a beekeeper. He has the bees from here, and he makes the honey and sells the honey. So it's kind of cool. He has a spicy honey too. And I think if you want to make barbecue sauce with it, that's fine. But if you want it right in the mouth or in your tea, no, it's a little spicy. It'll be spicy. Oh my gosh, we are pretty much, I think, done. Let me look at this again. Look at that. I really kind of like that. I think it looks good. It's still a little bit wet at the bottom. Oh, can you see that? It's hard to see. I could darken the red on there. Do I want to? I could darken the red. I could actually, you know how you make red or how you make pink? You just add water. Well, watch what happens, y'all. This is scary. Let me see what happens. I'm going to put a little red dot of this really bright red. And just kind of here and there. One year I did a commission, and it was a full-on Christmas scene from a living room with the lights and everything. It was gorgeous. And I had never painted lights before. So that was a challenge. There we go. I got some red in there now. So now it looks more like a Christmas tree. And if I wanted to, I could dab out some of these with my paper towel and make them less bright, like they're behind maybe some of these branches and not so prominent. Maybe. Or we can make some wherever. This tree just has red. And I think that can be pretty, you know, when you have everything kind of the same. But I also think it's, oh, thank you, Joy, saying it's beautiful. Thank you. I think that, that's why I bet my friend has 7 trees, is because she can't make up her mind if she wants one to be all red bulbs or all pink. I think with the pink right now that I'm seeing in the stores, that there's going to be some really pretty ideas on Pinterest and stuff with the pinks. I'm sticking with teal. I bought some ornaments that are starfish. I'm going to put on my tree. I paint some things that are, I paint some nativity scenes, but I think I'm going to do some sea turtles on my wooden rounds. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me show you. It's kind of hard for me to do these on YouTube. I think I have done one video maybe where I show you what to do. So these are painted with watercolor ground. So it comes looking like this, and you paint it with your watercolor ground, and then you can basically treat this like watercolor paper, and you can watercolor on it. So I was thinking I might do some sea turtles and sell those at some of my craft shows. I still have 4 craft shows, y'all. I have 2 this month and 2 next month. So I need to probably make more of these things. Plus the local coffee shop, Sweet Home Coffee in Robertsdale, is selling my artwork there, and they're going to have some of these soon. I'm going to take them over there. But I like that I can do different sizes. I might do some Christmas snowman. I could do like a beach snowman, like a sandcastle beach snowman. Last year we had snow on our beach in Gulf Shores. Like it snowed almost a foot at my house last winter. Not for Christmas. It was after Christmas, I think. It was in January. But we actually did get snow. So that would be fun. If I have a picture I can pull up of them having some snow on the beach, that would be kind of fun to have, you know, a painting of a beachy. But our sand is already kind of white here. So it would basically look like sand and not snow. But the snowman, people made snowmen, and they had the ocean in the background, and it was really cool. I really liked all the photos my friends were posting. It was super fun. But yeah, this is basically, let me see. This is what it looks like, y'all. And I think with the red, I think with the little, it's so subtle, but I think it just makes it. So I definitely, you know, if you do have paintings that kind of bulge and aren't flat, you can always stack some books on them when they're dry. After they're completely 100% dry, just stack some books on them, and then you can flatten them out that way. Some people spritz the back and then dry it with a heat tool. That's another way of doing things. Why is that open right there? Joy says, yes, I've never seen snow on the beach. That would be so pretty. I'm from Ohio. Wow, that's cool. Ohio gets probably snow every year. We don't get snow here every year. It's very rare. I think it's It's like once a decade, probably here we get snow down by the beach. I think northern Alabama gets snow more often, but I've been wanting to go to the zoo in Ohio. I think it's in Cincinnati. I think that would be a fun little trip to take my kids and my husband on and go there. Can't get everyone off work and going to do things. It's kind of like they're so busy now and doing their own thing. But maybe they'll take some time off, right? And we can go visit, and I could let you know when we're coming. I'll be like, Joy, we're coming to Ohio. I want to go see Fiona. Have you seen the hippo, Fiona? Because she captured my heart, my daughter's heart. I remember when she was prematurely born, and like just the internet fell in love with her. And I'd love to go see her and her little brother, Fitz, I think is his name. Just so precious. The hippos are precious. But I think I don't know. I haven't picked out my scripture yet for today. What do you guys think? Should I do a random drawing from my card stack? Let's see. I don't know. I've been trying to write scripture, like handwrite it, because it helps you memorize it. She said, don't bother with Cleveland Zoo. Columbus Zoo is nice. I have not, only by pics. Oh, okay, so you haven't seen Fiona. Isn't that at the Cincinnati Zoo? I think it's at Cincinnati. I don't know. And I also want to go see the Noah's Ark exhibit and the Creation Museum. I've never been, so I've heard it's really awesome. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one, y'all. Psalm 37:5. I love this. And sometimes these cards aren't word for word. I don't know what version of the Bible it is. I don't know if it's ESV, NSV, NIV. I really don't know. But my friend gave this to me I think it was last Christmas, and I just love these cards. Joy says, I think, for the Cincinnati. I think it is Cincinnati. But that would be a fun trip. I think it would take us 10 hours probably to drive there. Maybe. I think it's a 10-hour drive. But I could go by and see my nephew. He's like in Tennessee or somewhere. Anyways, this says, Psalms 37:5 says, commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him to help you do it, and he will. You know what? That's so simple. And it gives me peace, because a lot of times I think, why can't I just be more obedient to God? Why can't I do this? Why can't I be doing my Bible study religiously every day? Or why can't I, be the hands and feet of Jesus every day? Why is it so hard sometimes? And I think to myself, if God just could zap me and make me obedient, that would be awesome. I would love that. But he gives me free will. And so with that free will, guess what? I can pick whether or not to be obedient. And so it's saying here, commit everything you do to the Lord. So I'm trying to commit my artistry to the Lord. There's some secret art, y'all, that I've been working on. It's, I'm not sure if I want to integrate it into my YouTube channel, but I have it on my TikTok channel. I do have some on Nextdoor if you're on Nextdoor, but Nextdoor is for locals, like the people around you. So like you might not be able to find me there. But then there's my Instagram and my Facebook, and I have not really put it on there either. But my daughter, Joy says, I hear that's nice too, and agree with writing verses. Yeah, it helps commit it to memory. Like, I'm one of those, I like to write a lot and I like to read, and it's better than hearing. So like if someone tells me something, it's almost like 10 seconds later, I forgot what they said. But if they text it to me and I read it, I actually remember it a lot better. So that's just how I learn, I guess. Reading and writing is the way that my brain works. So I think that, I lost my train of thought. I think that just trusting in God to help me to do what it is that He wants me to do is giving me peace. This just gives me peace. Then I don't have to worry too much about if I'm doing what He wants me to do. But I do have that secret art that I was telling you about. And so maybe I'll share it. Maybe I'll start a new Instagram page just for that. Or maybe I'll start a new website for that. Or maybe I'll have a section on my website for it. I don't know. I have a blog and I haven't updated it and I haven't done too much. But if you've been to my website, stampinturtles.com, no G in Stampin', because I'm also a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and that's how Stampin' Up spells there, Stampin'. I have rubber stamps everywhere. I have ink pads, these little ink spots. I don't know what else I have on my desk. I have all kinds of stuff. But this was like a cute, this is how we have the ones that can go on a block, but this one was the old style wood blocks. Like that, actually. Isn't that cute? And it says, love you a latte. This one is an old stamp, I think. I don't know, because it's on wood. They don't even do the wood anymore. Those are old. I've been a Stampin' Up demonstrator, though, 17, 18 years, something like that. Joyce says, long drive. It takes us about 10 hours to get to North Carolina beaches. Oh, okay. Just got back 2 weeks ago. Love that verse. Same about not always in the Word daily. Yeah. Every night, my husband and I listen to the Bible app, read the Bible out loud, and we're on the third time through the Bible right now, which is great. It keeps us doing it, but a lot of times we do kind of fall asleep to it, which I guess it's better to fall asleep to that than a TV show or music or just nothing. So I've been thinking about doing more Bible art journaling on here, but those videos don't seem to get as much likes, but that doesn't really matter to me. I just feel like I do want to do things that you guys enjoy. So, because I do this to help others, I wanted to encourage an artist out there who might be watching a YouTube video about being an artist and think, I can't do it, I'm too old, or I'm, whatever. My house is messy. I think one of my first videos, I showed like my living room, my kitchen, everything was a mess. I was in my pajamas, I think. And I was like, we're just going to start today making art. And that's why I did it. I just want you guys to start making art because it's really kind of cool. It's kind of fun to make art. And that's why my little secret art is kind of like mixed media. It's acrylic, papers, alcohol inks. It's got all kinds of stuff. Drips, splatters, but it's got whatever my hand starts painting. So it's almost like I'm not painting it. Like there's earths, there's cityscapes, there's volcanoes, there's snakes, there's moons, there's all kinds of images that come out. An owl was in one, a desert scene, a road. Those are just a few of the things that are in my secret art. So I don't know, maybe I'll make a little video about it and show you guys just to introduce you to what I've been doing. My daughter who loves ulms, if you've never heard of an ulm, it's kind of like an oxalotl or a salamander, and they live in caves in Croatia and somewhere else. Anyways, it's just like something she's fascinated about and told me to paint her some. So I did paint some, and they turned out amazing. But they definitely are different than what I've been doing with my watercolor. Like this is normal watercolors, right? Whoop, this way. So some of this art that I've been doing is a little different. What are you saying mine too? Oh, she says, shamefully I have 1,000 stamps. Okay, I probably have 1,000 as well. Or 2. I don't know exactly how many. You started the Bible recap. That's what I do. Bible recap with Tara Lee Cobble. But you missed several. I always just do the catch me up Catch me up. I'm like 20 days behind. Just catch me up. I try and do it with my husband. So if he's out of town, then we don't do the Bible recap, but I might do something else. But yeah, she's great. I love her videos on YouTube. She's fabulous explaining scripture, and it's really cool. So anyways, I guess we're at 11:05. So it's been about an hour, and I think this is a good time to say adios, and I love you guys. I hope you go out there and start painting. Just use what you got on hand. If you have Crayola watercolors, try using those. If you have cheap watercolor paper, try using that. All you need is color, a paintbrush, and paper, and some water. You need water. So, and it doesn't have to be super clean water. As you can see, I've made a bunch of things without it being super clean. But I do love you guys. I appreciate you watching. I pray for you, and I hope to see you next time. Mwah.